Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about heuristic and let's start with the definition.
The word Heureka it was pronounced by a well-known scientist and philosophist Archimedes, and it is a story that one king asked him to estimate, is it okay made crown from the gold, or maybe there is some part of it was stolen. And Archimedes was taking the bus and suddenly realized that when he go deeper, some part of water will go out, and he pronounced Evrika and found the rule or law that вытеснить
Take away.
that the body which was put in the liquid would take away the volume of liquid of its volume. So he found that this producer of the crown was a fraudster, and from this time we know this word Evrika. And Evrika is often used when we couldn't find a strict algorithm how to do something. For example, a heuristic analysis sometimes used in clusterization, in typization, in some processes, even in virus detection.
So now let's talk about like how exactly heuristic works and what are the fundamentals and principles and main way of use this framework in order to solve the problems.
First time I learned this word heuristic was after my article. I was writing an article. I was on the second or third course, and I was writing an article about some viruses self-modified and was encrypted and so on. And it was almost impossible to find them in the memory because each copy would be having some modification, and there are no way how to find them. And I propose the method to find not the viruses, but results of their operations. And I described 10 variants how usually destructive program works. And I was telling in this article, if you have like 5 to 7 признаков,
Threats.
if you have 5 to 7 threats, maybe you should think that you have a virus in your system.
And obviously, when we talk about heuristic, there might be like a different ways of using it, like in terms of the scale and the complexity. So what are there and how we move from one to another when we're solving specific tasks?
Sometimes you will find a person who would do something very unusual way, and if you will ask why do you do this, person will think, I don't know, it was like inside. So there is no codification. So single use and never thinking how to make it structured way. Second, you always thinking to whom this belong. It is similar to how we could make the rule from knowledge or experience do we have. And third level, when you deeply sure that heuristic is one of methods of your work. For example, I was chief of several divisions, and one of them was RAF, Revenue Assurance and Fraud Preventions. And each week or each month, we have another kind on fraudsters. Some of them were using like deer hunting. Some of them were using carousel. Some of them were using blind shooting and so on. And we were not aware of how they will work. They develop each time new schemes. They take the schemes from Poland, from Hungary, from Germany, from France, from Spain, and they like test hypothesis on us. But we should every time think, is it good person or could be a fraudster?
And when it comes to, if I may suppose, another dimension for the algorithms, like whether there is a cost of implementing and the efficiency of the specific ways. So how the heuristic would fit into this like a table of rank, if we can imagine that.
Let's assume we develop with Maxim Mukhtarov macros to check stress or to check some your letter in Russian language for for spell checking. If we will надеяться,
Hope.
if we will hope for word, we will find that sometimes, for example, word паролем, word think that паролем contain yo, паролем. Or for example, word she, ее, word never put yo on this. So word have a lot of mistakes. So we couldn't rely on it. And we should develop our rules. And I was using heuristic. I was thinking not by words, but by morpheme, by parts of words. And suddenly we found a lot of words that couldn't be checked by word, but it would be checked by our macros. Not because we are linguists, but because we're using heuristic.
And what are the cases when we choose or give a preference to the heuristic methods when we're trying to solve the problem, comparing to other ways of solving it? Is it when we don't have like any other ideas of like how to address specific thing, or when it's the problem is so complex, or there are so many variables that we might not be aware of, so-called unknowns, so that we just will give it for the mercy of the algorithm?
You're quite right in both ways. First, sometimes you have no other choices just to use heuristic. For example, you do it for the very first time. For example, it was a very terrible case. We were diving on Hawaii, and I was diving with two guys. They were sea seals. They're high skilled, and we were diving on Pearl Harbor. And it is prohibited to dive there because it is memorial. And we dive in one cave, and after this cave, we could go to this wrecks and so on. And suddenly one of these guys completely stopped, and there is no way how to take him out. And the ужас, the horror of the situation was several weeks before these two guys already lost their friends, and one year before they lost another friend in same situation. And so they were just showing one to another, say greetings to my family, but I am already stuck, I am already dying man. But I was thinking better to порвать кожу,
rip the
up.
skin.
Better to rip the skin, maybe to damage the equipment, than to give this person chance to die. And I take this person out, and they were just not believing how you make it. It is almost impossible. But I was saying, you're trying to stay in the equipment, and you couldn't pass through this small hole. So you should take it out. You should take out your suit, because you have rocks which касаются touching you, so you couldn't go. But with the skin, yes, you will have terrible wounds, but you will be alive.
Well, I do believe sometimes, you just need to, use a different methods to solve the problem that might be seen unsolvable. So my last question will be, how knowing about heuristic would help to make this world a better place?
Максим, I'm not sure, but if we will use heuristic for our children, for our families, for our employees, maybe it's not a good idea. But sometimes in some situation, maybe in desert, in the forest, in the sea, we have, or in the mountains, we have no other choice than rely on our instinct, on our insight, and also on heuristic.
А мы рассмотрели навык эвристика и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!